Hello everyone, this is Sarah and today I want to talk about the vagus nerve. And a lot of people are not familiar with this incredible nerve that we have in our body that is responsible for so many functions. And so I wanted to touch base on it because it could be a secret source of healing for a lot of people because the vagus nerve regulates so many functions in the body. And your vagus nerve, it is your longest cranial nerve X, and it starts right at the base of the skull, and it comes right out of the brainstem. And basically, its first path is to go back behind the throat, and then it innervates the rest of the body. So innervating meaning that it physically is growing these nerve endings and creating nervous tissue in these organs. And so your vagus nerve is our rest, digest, relax, heal, and reset nerve. It is the brakes to the gas pedal, which is the sympathetic nervous system. So our vagus nerve is responsible for resetting the body, calming it down, and is also important for different functions. For example, swallowing up at the base of the throat, at the base of the neck, going down all the way to your esophagus and stomach. It helps with hydrochloric acid production, gastrin and pepsinogen, digestive enzyme production. It helps gastric emptying, which is going to be beneficial for people with gastroparesis or other types of stomach issues, GERD, heartburn. The vagus nerve is also responsible for releasing bile and pancreatic enzymes to help digestion, as well as in the intestinal system. It's responsible for triggering motility and making sure that we're continuing to move food through our body so we can sweep it through and it's not becoming stagnant and causing disease for us. Among many other things, your vagus nerve also is responsible for heart contraction. So it can help bring heart rate down, whereas when we're stressed and basically if you're in a fight or flight mode, your sympathetic nervous system or your fight or flight nervous system in your body is going to be activated. It's bringing your heart rate up, and the vagus nerve goes, calm down. We're going to go back down to earth, back down to our resting and healing frequency. Also, it affects your lungs and breathing and respiration rate. So let's dive right in. So today I wanted to talk about signs that your vagus nerve might have dysfunction, or another way we can say it is you have poor vagal tone. So the physical strength of that nerve is not as strong as it used to be, and therefore it's not able to do its functions as properly. So a couple signs that you can see in your own body if your vagus nerve may not be functioning properly. The number one sign that I see is chronic constipation. Because our vagus nerve is so heavily innervated in our gut, when we experience poor motility or not getting that smooth muscle contraction, that peristalsis that's moving through food through our bodies, chronic constipation can be a sign that your vagus nerve is not able to send signals down to the rest of your body. In another video, I'm going to talk about causes of vagal nerve dysfunction, but in this video I want to talk about signs of vagus nerve dysfunction, so things that you can see or experience on your own. So chronic constipation and other gut issues in general, for example like SIBO, if we're not moving food down the intestines, bacteria from the large intestine or the colon can migrate up into the small intestine and cause what is called SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. The same thing happens for yeast, like Candida albicans can cause overgrowth because they're not being swept down consistently like they should be, so they just sit there and hang out. So if you think about a stagnant pond, it's going to be growing, it's going to smell weird, it's going to have algae growing and mosquitoes and just a bunch of yucky stuff. But if you look at a small stream, maybe all that stuff's going to be washed down, it's going to stay clean, and the same thing happens to your intestinal system. So number one sign of vagus dysfunction is chronic constipation. The second thing that you can notice in your body is if it's difficult to swallow. If you have dry mouth or dry eyes, the vagus nerve, the first place that it goes is right down your sternocleidomastoid, back behind the throat. And so when you experience difficulty swallowing, for example, if you are a person that has a hard time taking supplements, or they need to chew their food up really well, or if you just have a hard time swallowing in general, this can be a sign that the vagus nerve is potentially not functioning properly. The third sign that your vagus nerve might be not functioning properly, or you have poor vagal tone, would be insomnia or sleep disturbances. Our vagus nerve is responsible for resting and relaxing us, making sure that we're resetting and turning that off switch when we need to go to sleep, turn it off, relax. So if we're experiencing insomnia or sleep disturbances, we could be having a chronic sympathetic nervous system dominance. Your fight or flight mode just can't turn off because the strength of your parasympathetic nervous system is not strong enough to pull it back into balance. So the example I like to use with this is the gas pedal and the brake pedal. If you are constantly stressed out in fight or flight mode, your body is on that gas pedal. It is going full speed. And no matter how hard you try to push the brakes, the engine is still going full speed, right? If you're sitting at a stop sign and you have your foot on the gas and the brake, you're not going anywhere, but you are still revving full speed. And so these sympathetic dominance is important to work on, especially if you just can't relax in relaxing situations. And then the most severe sign that I wanted to talk about, this is in cases of very extreme vagal tone or vagus nerve dysfunction, is when you are feeling calm in stressful environments and you feel very anxious or stressed out in calm environments. It's basically flip-flopping. You know, you get hit with a stressful situation and zoom, you just go into this hyper-focused, ready to tackle anything mode. But instead of feeling stressed, you are calm. And then when you go, for example, and you're trying to relax somewhere, you're trying to read a book, you're trying to go to sleep, and you just can't shut it off, this can be a sign that the vagus nerve is not firing properly. So this is just a couple signs that you can look for vagal nerve dysfunction is chronic constipation or other gut issues like SIBO, heartburn or reflex GERD, other types of yeast overgrowths. If you're having a hard time swallowing, if you have dry mouth or dry eye, or if you don't have a gag reflex. So when you go to the doctor in a classic physical exam, they would take a tongue depressor and press the tongue straight down. And if you experience a gag, that actually means your vagus nerve is working and firing. If you don't experience that gag reflex, it could be a sign that it is not functioning properly. And then insomnia and sleep issues. If you're experiencing sleep issues, it could be a sign of sympathetic dominance in the body. And then the last sign was the most severe sign, where you feel calm in stressful environments and stressed out in calm environments. So this is just a short segue into the vagus nerve. I'm gonna make a couple more videos. The next one being the causes of vagus nerve damage. And I'm so excited to share this information with you guys because it could be the missing link in your healing. You can take all the supplements in the world and it will not fix the vagus nerve because it is a nerve. It needs to be exercised like a muscle. It is called sympathetic or parasympathetic tone or vagal tone. You have to exercise it. A supplement won't make your muscles bigger. You have to work the muscle out just like the vagus nerve. So I'm going to go over a couple more things in the next videos about exercises we can do and to learn more about this incredibly helpful nerve that is used for healing. Thank y'all so much.